Hey everybody, this is Stanislav Boyko, and without further ado, let's get it started. We got a book called How to Prepare for IELTS, published by British Council. Let's open the contents and find a speaking practice. Okay. Give me a second. Oh, here we can see one of the cue cards. Describe a wild animal that can be found in your country. Oh my. You should say what it looks like, what it lives, what you like or don't like about it, and explain how people in your country generally feel about it. Well, if you remember, I told you yesterday that the typical problem of many candidates is that they can't organize their speech properly in terms of logic and logical progression. Let's take a look at this cue card. We got the main question, describe a wild animal, and 4 sub-questions. Well, most people, from my experience, would decide to speak equally about each part of this area. That would be a big mistake. When we look at the cue card, we need to analyze where to speak more and where to speak less. In this case, it would be purely logical and correct. Now, let's take a look at the first sub-question. What it looks like. Of course, when it comes to the description of the wild animal, the appearance would play a huge role. So we would tell a couple of factors and details about appearance of wild animals. Where it lives, the second one is about the area. So this sub-question doesn't require a lot of information. Here, one sentence would be more than enough. The next one, what do you like / don't like about it? Here we can see we can make an option. We can make an option to say anything positive or negative towards this animal. So, or we can tell them both, like the mixed opinions. And the final one, the final sub-question is written in bold. Explain how people in your country generally feel about it. Here, it's not about our opinions, as well as not about the features of wild animal. It's only about the general point of view of citizens of our country. Now, when we have analyzed the question, we are ready to make some notes. So, in speaking part 2, we are given a piece of paper. Now, let's make some notes to prepare for this speech. So, animals living in our country. Let's speak about jackals. Jackals. And when we speak about them, the appearance can be their body, as well as the color they have, their clothes, where they live. This animal lives in desert. No, logically, let's make it here. Deserts and rural areas. Then, what do you like or don't like? I only dislike, so negative, because, the food it eats and their scary howling at night. What about their people's opinion towards them? It's again negative. It's, you can say, repulsive, and they associate it with bad people. So in general, it's considered as useless. Okay, now here we have some notes. Let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be enough. That would be enough to describe a wild animal within 2 minutes. Now let's go back to the question again. This is our cue card, if you have forgotten. Describe a wild animal that can be found in your country. Now, we got these notes, and I'll try to give a speech that I would actually use on my real test. So let's see what's going to happen. Let's get it on. To be honest, I don't know much about wild animals living in my country, but anyway, I'd like to tell you about jackals that mostly inhabit deserts as well as rural areas of Uzbekistan. If we speak about their body, it resembles the one of a dog, or I would say it's more like a hybrid of dogs and foxes. The color of these animals is usually black, with the grayish lower section of their bodies. And as the jackals are carnivorous animals, they have retractable claws. But from my point of view, they're not predators from nature, because they mostly feed on the dead animals. And that's what I really dislike about jackals, because they don't even strive for survival. They don't even try to, fight for their life. They only wait when some animal dies. It also can happen to people when some people go to desert and they feel tired and exhausted, and if they lay down, out of sudden the jackals can appear and wait until probably a person passes away, and then they can start their feast. So besides, I also don't like their howling at night. I remember when I went fishing with my father a couple of years ago. So we heard this terrible howling at night, and even though we realized that they were small in size, we were still scared. And I remember I had these goosebumps on my skin. So if we talk about the people's opinion towards jackals, they are negative as well, because most people find them repulsive, unpleasant, and they mostly associate jackals with some bad people, people who undertake something evil towards others. Also, many people find them as useless, as they have probably no benefits to the natural habitat. They don't do anything beneficial. So I do agree with most people about this point. Now, before I finish, I would like to tell you one idea that many biologists would probably disagree with, but if I had a chance, I think I'd kill all these jackals and I'd give their meat and bones to other animals living in our zoos, because I really find this animal as useless. This is how I would speak on the real test. Of course, it's not perfect. You see, it's improvised in front of you. But I really try to give you the organization that I usually make before I speak. And you can see now how I typically speak on a test. Probably I speak on the test better because I have more adrenaline than now. Now, before I say goodbye to you, I'd like to ask you to leave comments about the questions that you want me to analyze and probably speak about. So I will wait for your comments. And the most interesting cue cards and questions I'll try to analyze in front of you and then speak about them. That's all for now. See ya.